one of the most valuable fish in Alaska. Let's cut it up. What's up, y'all? I'm Reed the Fishmonger, and today we're gonna fillet a beautiful Alaskan black cod. First thing we're gonna do is pick up that peg fin, puncture right underneath it, and slide right out, fully separating the collar. Now come behind the head at an angle. When we cut behind the head at a hard angle, you make sure you get all the meat behind the head. If you just go straight down like this, you're missing out on a good chunk right there. Up next, we're gonna make a little incision right on top of that fin and pull towards the head. These fish have a thin, delicate spine, and we don't want to cut through it. So we're going to gently rest our knife right on top of that spine, not at a hard angle down because we don't want to cut through the spine. Then we're going to flip our knife around, rest our knife right on top of the skeleton, and cut all the way to the tail. Now we're going to use the tip of our knife to go to the top of that spine, tip of the knife, base of the ribs, angle it slightly up, make sure your knife is not levitating but resting on the skeleton. And what we just did was separate the connection the pin bones make to the ribs. Lift up high on our fillet, use just the tip of our knife to hit the second side, not pushing down too hard because you'll cut right through that delicate spine. Now we can rest our knife right on top of the rib bones and slide down. Right here is the bottom of the rib bones. Once you get to the bottom of the rib bones, you can fully separate it. One more gentle incision like that, and just like that, cameraman loses a finger and you've got a beautiful black cod fillet with 0 rib bones left in there. All the rib bones are right here. Now we're gonna flip it over and hit the second side. We're gonna pick up the fin, go behind the head at an angle, fully separating that collar, twist it around, and these fish they're not stiff. They're long, they're skinny, thin, delicate spine, and they wobble around. So on this side, we're gonna make an opening right there. Make sure the tip of your knife is resting on the skeleton. As we slide down, take your time, make sure your knife is on top of the skeleton, just like that. We don't want to waste a drop. These Alaskan sablefish, or black cod, have 20 times the oil content of an Atlantic cod, which makes it just pure buttery deliciousness. We don't want to waste any of it. So now that you've got that opening all the way down, we're going to rest our knife right on top of the skeleton and pull. Nice and gentle, making sure you don't cut through the skeleton. Let the skeleton guide your knife without pushing through it. Now that you're to the center, use the tip of your knife, go to the top of that spine, tip of the knife, base of the ribs, angle your knife slightly up, and separate the connection the pin bones make to the ribs. Now you can lift on this head portion without tearing any of that beautiful meat. Dip the tip of your knife on the second side of that center spine and slide down. Repeat the process until you get to the other end. Now we can rest our knife right on top of those rib bones, gently glide down them until they end, and then cut through just like that. And now you've got your entire fillet off. Now the most fun part, close it up. Do not waste these bones or this head, you guys. There's more meat to be had, and this fish could have come all the way from 5,000 feet of water. It had a long journey to get to your table. Make sure you don't waste it. Snap the head off just like that. Put this off to the side. You might think oily fish, phenomenal for fumet. I actually don't like the oilier fish for a fish stock or a fumet because it's gonna make it a little greasy tasting, but you can take a spoon and scrape the meat off. This is phenomenal stuff still. But in my opinion, the real money is right here. These collars are just, oh my God, straight bone-in fish butter. So you've got membrane that the gills are connected to. Puncture that, slide right underneath the lip, flip it over. You can see this membrane right here. We want to puncture that membrane, slide underneath the lip. Pop that whole guy out like so. And if you've seen my other videos, you've seen me cutting at these floating bones to take the collars off. On these fish, Their meat is a little softer. You don't have to do that. You can just rip them right out. Don't let the black stomach lining deter you. This is absolutely to die for. If you're ever privileged enough to work with a whole black cod, please cut these out, roast these in an oven, grill them. My favorite way to do it is take a little bit of miso paste, soy sauce, a little bit of honey or something sweet, whip it together, brush it over the top, roast in the oven until it's nice and toasty, and go to town. You leave the skin side down and you just eat right off the top. There's still meat to be had. Puncture right where the meat begins, start to outline it, hook right underneath the lip just like that, flip it around, trace the outside, use the tip of your knife to scoop into the face there. The whole thing will release. We're gonna take the cheeks out. They're gonna be small, but they're delicate and delicious, and we want them. So you can feel where the bone is and where it gets a little softer, and outline. Get underneath that lip real good. That will lift up the entire cheek like so. These are even easier to take off than grouper snapper cheeks. And there you go. These little tiny cheeks that pop right out. Not much meat there, but it's a delicacy. I'm gonna flip it over and repeat the process. Puncture right where the meat begins. Start to outline it. Hook right underneath the lip just like that. Flip it around. Trace the outside. Use the tip of your knife to scoop into the face there. Take your knife, make a nice long incision. Do not cut your fingers, especially if you don't wear cut gloves. Just like that. Not the largest, not the prettiest, but delicious meat. And we are not done yet. We're going to lift up the throat just like this. We're going to puncture through both sides, cut out just like that, get a good grip, and peel that back. This right here, cod throat, or we've got this thicker skin there. Put both of your fingers down, peel that off. These throats are an absolute delicacy and one of the best parts of the entire fish. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a killer day.